This episode of The Rookie Hunter is sponsored by North Arm Knives. North Arm Knives are handcrafted and sold directly through a father and son team right here in British Columbia. Choose from a selection of outdoor knives, kitchen knives, and their brand new folding knife from northarmknives.com. They ship internationally and guarantee all their work. Callie and I use their products and give them our stamp of approval. Go to northarmknives.com. Hey guys, welcome to episode 50 of Rookie Hunter. We made it, 50 episodes. Feels pretty good. Big, huge thank you to everybody who left ratings and reviews for us. As most of you know, we set a goal for episode 50, and that was to reach 100 in the Canadian iTunes store. And you guys shattered that. Thank you very much to everybody that did that. And we set a goal for 40 in the American iTunes store. We didn't quite get there, but we'll let you guys off the hook on this one. Make sure you also subscribe to the podcast. That guarantees you'll get the episode as soon as we release it. It also is one more of those things that helps us become more visible in iTunes. So, for example, if you subscribe to Meat Eater and Rookie Hunter, when someone else finds the Meat Eater podcast, we'll show up as something else that they might like in their feed. So it just makes us more visible, and we like Meat Eater, and we want other people to find our podcast through them. So that's just one more thing you guys can do. So enough of that. As you'll hear in this episode, Kelly and I want to do something fun and create a challenge for each other. So there was a few options we talked about, and you're going to hear what the final details are. But I'm going to spill the beans a little bit here. We decided to do a running challenge. So for the next 30 days, we've set a number of kilometers for each of us. And what we're going to do is track this through the Nike Running Club app. Not a plug for that app, but that's what we're going to use. So if you guys want to follow along and also be part of this challenge, download the app, and you can find Kelly and I. Just search us on there, Rookie Hunter Mike and Rookie Hunter Kelly. You can add us as friends, and we can all sort of do this challenge as a group together, which would be kind of fun. So get on the app and join us on this one. If you want to post some photos and stuff on Instagram, we're going to use the hashtag Rookie Running Club. So this would be a lot of fun over the next 30 days. We're going to do this challenge, and there's consequences if one of us doesn't make it. So hope you guys enjoy this episode. Again, a big thank you to everybody, including all of our guests over the past 50, and of course to you guys for listening. So sit back, relax, crack a cold beer, and enjoy episode 50 with me and Kelly.
How there's that path that goes through the kind of wooded area. It almost looks like a perfect whitetail habitat in there.
Yeah.
I was just kind of below that on the non-trail section. I hiked all the way over the power line.
Oh, nice.
And then went right to the top where I missed that whitetail that year.
Yeah.
And then I walked over that ridge, and the wind was just howling because the sun came out.
Right.
And I couldn't even stand up there. So I'm like, oh, no deer are going to be standing around up here. So then I moseyed back down, and I saw so many mule deer. 2 point.
Man, they're all over the place. Yeah, of course you see a 2 point when they're no longer in season.
Yeah. And I saw them. And then once I got to basically the road or whatever, they crossed it and kept going. And I went a different way, but then I look up again, and he's staring at me again. Like, I think he was 100 yards away. Broadside staring at me. I was just like dancing around, seeing what I could do, and he just kept staring at me.
He's just going, "Hey, Kelly, fuck you. I'm not in season anymore."
He was a nice looking deer. He wasn't huge, but...
Hey, yeah. Well, episode 50, Kel.
There you go. Cheers.
Cheers. What's on tap?
4 Winds what is this? Yeah, Le Maison.
It's our...
it's a signature
Rookie Hunter beer for sure. It's in cans. I've never had it in cans before.
Yeah.
I thought I was getting a 4-pack of bottles. It ended up being a 6-pack of cans, which I'm not going to argue with that.
Yeah, sometimes beer tastes better or worse in cans, but maybe
there's something about a can every once in a while.
Yeah.
Especially when you're out in the bush, cracking a nice can while you're out there.
Yeah.
Sweet. So yeah, as you were just saying, you were just out. I guess that was yesterday, right? Saturday,
Yep.
and
The snow was crunchy.
I know that's the problem.
So-
I was out. What day did I get out? Friday, or what was it?
Yeah,
Or
I think it
Wednesday?
was. Yeah.
I can't remember. Anyways, yeah, it was super. Snow was just loud and crunchy
Mhm.
and not good for whitetail hunting. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Unless you're gonna sit down somewhere. But yeah, I wasn't. I just wanted to check
Mhm.
out some places and go to some spots where I had seen some whitetail does.
Yep.
But they're hiding on me.
Yeah, I found I don't really pack that stool around it much anymore. I don't really pack my tripod around either.
Yeah, I don't bring my.
Well,
stool
like
either.
my shooting, that bog pod thing.
Right.
Because once you get like scopes and tripods and all that stuff, you gotta
Yeah.
can't carry everything.
Yeah.
But one thing, especially in the snow, make sure you bring a butt pad because the difference is night and day.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
You can actually sit there for an hour if you have a
Yeah, for sure.
decent butt pad. Just throw it on the snow and you're good. But
Yeah.
I mean, it takes you. You think you're going to be fine. 5 minutes later, you're freezing
Totally.
because you
Doesn't
don't
take
have
long.
any. It's just the ground sucking the heat right out of you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
something to keep in mind. It's kind of I throw it in between the frame of my pack and like kind of where the meat shelf is.
Right.
And you can just slide it back there. It's easy to pull out.
Nice. Sweet. Yeah. So mule deer season has ended for rifle season, and it'll open
Yeah.
up again at the beginning of December, I believe. For
I think
bow.
I think it's this weekend.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, it's Sunday now, so next week, which
Next
is
weekend.
like the 25th.
Yeah.
I think mule deer opens up again for bow, and
Is it any buck or is it for?
it is any buck, I believe.
Wow.
So yeah, I could have got this one with the bow, and I was almost close enough.
I'm gonna open up Hunt Buddy and have a look here.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's. Yeah. So I guess that would have been the first muley buck that you've seen.
Yeah.
Right.
And he was with two does, so
Of
I mean, it all
course.
makes sense. They're
Yeah, for sure, man.
in the rut, and then they shut the season down because they're easier to find. But
It's funny because it almost feels like it should be opposite because we see so many mule deer here where you and I hunt anyways. Other guys might disagree if they're primarily whitetail hunters. But yeah, it just seems like there's so many mule deer here. Well, not so much this year, I guess, but they are crawling all over the place. There's a ton of does out there. They're all over the place. So, but yeah, who knows if things keep improving for them? Maybe they will sort of extend this season a little bit. Yeah, mule deer, bucks, bow only. White-tailed deer also.
So whitetail bucks is a rifle, and then the
Yep.
mule deer or any buck bow. Might bring my bow and then strap my gun to my pack, and
Yeah, and then
you're
whitetail
kind of ready for
on,
whatever.
December 1st, it goes to either sex for whitetail.
And that's for bow.
Yep. So that'll be our final chance to make something happen. So luckily we got one muley, which feels good.
Yeah, I mean, whitetail is a different ball game,
Totally, man.
and I feel like with mule deer, you can go out there and spot something from a ridge, and with whitetail, you kind of have to set up and ambush, which takes a little bit of time. I mean, you can get lucky, I think, but I feel like if you're going to find a whitetail buck just by walking around, it's probably going to be a spiker,
Yeah.
2-point or something.
Even that is still going to take off in a hurry, I think.
Oh yeah, and it's tough. And if you want a bigger buck, like 4 or 5 years old or older,
Yeah.
they're probably going to be in some thick crap that with a little trail that you got to set up on and wait
Yeah.
for them. And you need a lot of knowledge and research to find those areas. So it's a bit, it's different, more involved. Although if you do have that information, that's where I can see people having a lot of fun with whitetail
for
because
sure.
you know their routine, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just, I think we have a couple areas in mind, but they're a little further away.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe
Yeah,
spend some time out there.
It's interesting, man. I feel like we've become pretty good mule deer hunters. I think, anyways. But the difference being that like you sort of have to go to those like to the mule deer. With whitetail, you have to bring them into you, so it's almost like completely opposite. And you and I both enjoy the activity of hiking and chasing mule deer around. So it's just a different, I guess, rather than a physical challenge of lots of hiking and lots of climbing through shit that's not on a trail and all that. It changes to the mental game, which I'm not very good of sitting still and staying still for an extended period of time.
Yeah, it's
but
tough.
I think once you can do it, man, like guys, I don't know, it seems like definitely the older retired guys really like whitetail hunting because I think they've done the stuff that we're doing now, and they like sort of just like it's almost like peaceful Zen moments for them to just sit up in a tree stand or in a blind or something like that and just sort of watch the world go by a little bit, where we like to keep moving. So
yeah, for sure.
It's a mental game for sure.
Yep.
So yeah, that'll be interesting. And I think we focused a lot of our energy on finding good mule deer spots, which is great. So we've got a pretty wide range of areas that we can go after mule deer when the season opens each year, but we've never really put much effort into finding good whitetail spots. We have a couple spots in mind potentially, but it's not like we know, okay, this, September, October, we can hang out here and focus on mule deer. After that, we should be going to a new area and sort of focusing our efforts on the whitetail.
Yeah.
But we just don't really have those spots in mind yet.
Yeah, exactly. And I think different regions have better odds for certain types of animals. Like, some are just, you look at the harvest data and there's a whole ton of whitetails coming out. So I don't know if it's worth it to, spend more time in going out to a spot, maybe an hour or two away.
Yeah.
But if you know it's going to be productive, then I would do that, no problem.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's just the being in Kelowna, we're lucky because we can go, 5 minutes out the back door or anywhere in between.
Yeah, for sure, man.
And there's whitetail and mule deer. It's just that it's not, I don't think it's prime mule deer stuff. Or
whitetail. Yeah.
Whitetail.
Yeah, for sure. While we're talking about this, we might as well. The last time you and I were hanging out, we were sort of talking about sort of what our goals and tactics for next year are going to be as far as hunting goes. And we were talking about like scheduling solid blocks of days, be it just like 2 days this week, 2 days lined up with a weekend, like 2 weeks from that point, if that makes any sense, so that we can really be present and focused on hunting for those days. Because I do a lot of like morning hunts, and I'm usually off the mountain and back to work here by like 11:30 or something like that.
Yeah,
I work with a lot of musicians, which means they usually don't start until afternoon sort of stuff. So I can get away with that a little bit. But, if you're taking a full day off, then it means that we should probably make use of that full day and get in a solid hunt.
Yeah, because, you can always sneak in those mornings. Again, we're lucky to live here.
Yeah.
But I think if you can take a day or two or more, and you can really, like, good example, we were up north, right? We had to change our plan. We couldn't really make the sheep thing work.
Yeah.
You go back to listen to that episode for more information. But we decided, okay, we're going to try for elk. So we walked around for a couple days, and we ended up finding this rub that looked like, an elephant had ran that thing over and snapped the tree in half and stepped all over it. And we're like, oh, this is a pretty good spot. So then we hike up to the top of that ridge. We walk that for a day, and sign and bedding everywhere. And we ended up having an elk bark at us. And so I think that just comes from, being fully committed in that day.
For sure.
And then, wherever you pick your spots, you're just going to learn so much in that one day.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're not going to do that every weekend, but I would almost rather do that once every 2 or 3 weeks than kind of do the half day.
Yeah, for sure.
But maybe it's the whitetail mentality that's kind of
Could be.
kicking me into that gear too, because mule deer, you can just kind of get lucky, I feel like.
Yeah, like all the 2 bucks that I've got were just morning half day hunts, which ended up being me calling clients and saying, "Hey,
Yeah.
I got a little bit of an issue here. Do you mind rescheduling for tomorrow?"
Yeah.
I warn guys now. A lot of them know I hunt, so it's like, "Hey,
It's hunting season.
I'll schedule in, but there's a good chance that I might call you and
Yeah.
reschedule." And they're always like, "Yeah, okay."
The other example was the elk.
Yeah.
Oh, that was obviously a longer hunt, but a couple days. We didn't really focus in the exact same areas. We were moving around quite a bit, and then you spend a day somewhere and something happens.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man, it's I mean, a lot, like we've said a million times, a lot of it is luck, but you're only increasing your odds by spending more time in one area, and hopefully it's going to be an area that provides something for you.
Yep.
Because you can spend a bunch of time in an area that doesn't have any animals too, which we also sort of discovered in the Kootenays a little bit there. It's almost that was a funny trip, man, because there was some areas that we went into where there was no sign, and we sort of eventually found out that those were areas that get a lot of traffic with heli skiing and snowmobiles and all that kind of stuff. And you see the impact that it has. Pristine country, but no animals around. And then we went sort of back around the other side of those mountains, and then you get into there's sign all over the place. So it's pretty interesting. But I guess a part of that too is when we can, whenever it's possible this summer, to do a bit of homework and scout out some areas and really think about where we want to go, especially if we're, taking a couple days off of work here and there. If we're going to go somewhere, it'd be nice to go somewhere where we think there's a good chance rather than just guessing.
Yeah, maybe we should focus more on the whitetail, the moose sign, try to look in, because those are, I find, harder to find.
Yeah.
But I agree. And we're active anyways. So you kind of, if you're going for a hike, then we can just point it in a direction we're interested in hunting, right?
See, Ashley doesn't listen to this. I don't know if Bree does, but we can always say, "Oh yeah, let's go on a little hiking trip, all of us," and they're stoked because we're going to go for a hike, bring the dogs. However, you and I are looking at things a little bit differently, but
why do you guys keep looking at the ground?
No reason.
Yeah.
So no, I'm just joking, but that's a good way to do it, man. Is we still enjoy being out there when it's not hunting season, so we might as well use that to your advantage and explore some new areas in the North Okanagan or whatever it might be.
Yep.
And start thinking about where we want to go. But I think that's going to be a better plan rather than just picking random days here and there, sort of like what you've been doing. And you had your fishing trip, and we had our northern trip, and I was traveling in the summer, so we're a little bit more spread out as far as actually being able to take time off. But if we make that a priority, I think it's going to be pretty good. Yeah. And then I'm sure as we get into February, we'll start talking about where we're going to go as far as a group hunt again with Garrett and whoever decides to come. And I think maybe we want to make that one a little bit longer too. Again, we were just dealing with the amount of time that we had this year, but it'd be cool.
And that was 10 days driving included, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we want to try and add a couple days this time.
Yeah.
Would be good.
I agree.
Yeah. Because, man, I feel like it was sort of, I might have said this already, but like those last days were sort of like, okay, I'm starting to understand how this area works and where the animals might be. We had a really good spot for moose. We had a really good spot for elk. Had we had 2 more days, I think we probably would have found something. Maybe. But it was feeling like things were getting a little bit closer.
Yep.
For sure.
The challenge with that spot, I think, was the amount of horse traffic too coming through. Which makes it a little difficult, but we could have, we found some areas, especially for moose, that we could have actually went back a little further, right? They could have just been a little ways back. Yeah, we were calling and
we had something crashing around back there.
Yeah.
Which was pretty cool. So
Could have been calling it a grizzly for all we know. but
maybe. Yeah, that's
Come
possible.
and get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. This being episode 50. Kelly, you ready for this?
I don't know. I think so. Is this a challenge?
This is a challenge segment of the show. So I think the neat thing about doing this show and sort of a key element that runs throughout it is sort of challenging ourselves, putting ourselves out of our comfort zone, pushing ourselves to live healthier, be it eating wild organic meats or getting lots of exercise, being outside. So I thought it'd be fun. I don't know if you think it's going to be fun to put up a bit of a challenge for ourselves for the next 30 days here.
Yeah.
So what are you thinking? I have some things in mind.
I don't know. I was thinking maybe for sure I'm going to drink 8 glasses of water a day.
8 glasses of water? Okay. Good.
It's pretty intense.
That'll make for some good Instagram photos.
Yeah.
Just 8 photos of a glass of water each day.
I'm just trying not to get into the whole, I don't know. I'm kind of dreading this.
That's good. That's what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
So, okay, here's the options. I've got some ideas here, Kelly. It's either going to be a running challenge.
Mhm.
We can decide on how many kilometers we each want to run. It can be different for both of us throughout the next 30 days. What's the date today? It's the 19th, so
19th.
the holidays aren't going to interfere with this one, which is good because that would make things tricky.
Mm-hmm.
So running or yoga. Here's the thing. So I'm down to run,
Mhm.
and I think I said I would run 30K a week. Is that what I said?
I think so, yeah.
Or we could do some yoga. We could do both. So if you choose to do some yoga classes, I'm thinking you do 8, so 2 a week,
Ooh.
and I'll come with you, and I'll also do the running challenge. How's that?
How much is yoga?
Well, it's cheap. So the first class is free. It's on me, Kelly.
Yeah.
And 1 month pass is $40 for introductory. All you need is shorts. Does Bree have a yoga mat?
I thought you were going to say, does Brie have yoga shorts? Like, nobody wants to see that.
No, I'm not standing behind you.
I don't know. Hey, I'll commit to the running one,
Okay, how many?
but I'm not doing 30K because
Well,
I feel
yeah,
like
do it.
I might hurt myself.
Yeah, I got to be careful because I've got a knee that's bugging me, and I think going to yoga class has been kind of
I'll do a 5K every second day.
every second. That's quite a bit then. So you'd like probably, well, you want to do 15K a week, this sort of thing then?
Yeah. So I want to make sure I do 3 runs a week,
Okay, cool.
5K each.
Sweet.
Done.
Done. Nice. I think I might have set the bar too high for myself here. Okay, so if somebody fails, what is the repercussions of this one?
No beer for a month.
No beer over Christmas.
No.
Santa's gonna be upset.
No eggnog.
Nothing.
no
So no
booze.
booze.
No.
Okay. Deal. You
No
ready for
Four
this?
Winds. No Le Maison.
And how do we make sure that the other person's not drinking?
Oh, you know that GIF I sent you, the Superman kicking that guy in the nuts.
I'll have to have family members on patrol over Christmas if you
Yeah.
lose. Okay.
Well, here's the thing with the running.
Mm-hmm.
You must have an app.
Yeah.
Like
So I've got
Nike Run or
yeah, I'll do the Nike
Strava.
one. I think what we'll do, Cal, is I might make a Rookie Hunter Mike one.
Mhm.
You can make a Rookie Hunter Kelly. So we'll set new ones because I think I have already like data on there as far as like how much I've ran. We'll make brand new ones.
I do too, but I only have a couple runs, so I might just.
No, you can't do that. And I think people can actually check in on our progress. We'll follow up on that on the next episode.
Okay.
So people can actually see, they can look at our accounts and see if we're actually been running.
Have you tried Strava?
And you can't drive around in your car with the app running.
Holy shit, that guy's fast. Have you tried Strava?
I did check that one out,
Oh,
and then I
okay.
upgraded my phone and it disappeared. So that one
Okay.
seemed good too.
I actually like it a lot.
Cool. But yeah, let's use the Nike one because I think we can tie that in with social media somehow.
Mhm.
And done.
Okay.
Sweet.
Because you want to, the thing is, you don't want to have like, I'm going to run 5K every day. Because one, I know I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
But you also need some room because there's just certain days where something's going to pop up.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm making excuses now. Cam Haynes would not be impressed.
No excuses. Yeah, that's good, man. I try to run. I have a 6-kilometer route that I run. I don't know, twice a week. I try to, anyways. And it doesn't always happen.
Mhm.
So stepping that up, adding an extra 4 kilometers, and doing that holy shit, 3 times a week is going to be tough. But maybe I'll break it up into different ones as long as we hit. So you'll be at 60 at the end of the month.
Mhm.
And I'll be at 120. So as long as we hit that at the end of the month, then we're good.
Yep.
So if we miss a day or something like that, then we can make up for it. One sec. Oscar, come here. You're standing right on the fucking cable. Come here. Jesus. All right.
Out of all the places he could have stood,
Yeah.
he walked like 20 feet into the corner of the room and sat on the cable.
Right on our headphone cable. Thanks, bud. Okay, cool, man.
What's Oscar going to do?
I don't know. Just going to look good. He's been our good luck charm for mule deer, so he's done
Yeah.
his part.
Yeah.
Moving on, we went to a cool, what would you call it? A presentation. It wasn't really a seminar. It was the mule deer.
Yep. At UBCO?
Yep.
So that was,
A couple of weeks back now.
I feel like we should look up his name, but he's a university
I'll look it up
professor
while you're
from,
talking. He's
the
out of
univers-
Montana, but he works with Idaho, correct?
Yeah, so he's actually Canadian, but he's moved down. He's a professor at the University of Montana,
Okay.
and he also works with or for, I can't remember, the Idaho Fish and Game Club
Okay.
or Idaho Fish and Game.
Nice.
So yeah, they basically talked about mule deer health and what affects mule deer populations and kind of all that stuff. So we learned a few things.
Yeah, what was your takeaway from that?
I think one of the big ones was everybody's always talking about predator management, right?
Yes.
Like you got to get rid of cougars, you got to get rid of wolves, you got to get rid of coyotes and all this stuff.
For the record, I took a lot of shit for our wolf episode, so
Well, I think where we settled ultimately on that was like, if it's scientifically proven that it has to happen, then that's a rational reason to do it. But what these guys have found is that it's actually like the number was not getting better. Like populations weren't going up or down depending on how many coyotes or at least not to a significant margin. They couldn't find any significant pattern.
yeah.
So coyotes especially, they took out, what did he say, like 70%?
So what
of
they
coyotes?
did was they chose so they divided up Idaho into regions, like how we have regions, same idea here. In one region they decided to take out, I think it was basically like a third of the predator population. So I think they did, in some areas it was like a combination of they would take out a third of the cat population, a third of the canine population or something like that, measure those results. And another region they would only do cats or something like that, and so on, and then left other regions alone. And the results were pretty interesting.
Yeah, it didn't really show any pattern, right? Nothing
Short-
that they could.
Yeah, short term seemed to make a difference. But in long term, the thing that I found interesting was it ended up that that does were living longer and giving birth to less healthy fawns.
Yeah, but less twins too.
Yeah,
So,
so
as does get older, they birth less twins.
birth less twins, and then the fawns often wouldn't make it through the wintertime.
Mhm.
So it would actually, short term, you would see a little bit of a rebound. I could be wrong. If he hears this, I apologize, but I think this is what it was. There was a slight
The
increase.
first year, it usually did show like
Yeah,
a little bit of an increase.
1 to 3 years maybe at the most.
But then
Over
the-
time, it would it worked against their efforts.
Yeah. And then the next few years, it was kind of like the data was spiking all over the place. Like
Yeah, it
there
was
was
a
no
mess.
actual
No trends.
way to prove it. But so yeah, they talked about that. So, and even in the audience, people were at the end of the conversation, they were saying, what should we do about wolves or all this? And he's just like, we can't just go in there and take out all these animals, because the consequence of that, if we're not right, is absolutely massive.
Yeah.
So like per the studies that we're showing you now, we're saying that, that is probably not the answer.
Yeah.
And what they did say, this all depends on areas and populations and everything. Like it's a big tangled web of relationships.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it was environmental.
Yeah.
So how good the food and environment is from the spring and the fall, the year before that doe gives birth, is what governs kind of that population and the successfulness that fawn's going to live.
So I think one of the final slides on there was protecting habitat is the key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have down in Idaho, they have partnerships with NASA and stuff, so they can they have all these portals where they can look at satellite images and tell how the forage is doing from year to year, and they can actually forecast based on that and harvest numbers and a bunch of other stuff. Every year, like by the time the hunting season ends, by the time the next year rolls around, they can forecast and tell you what your next hunting season's going to be,
And
which
then
is light years ahead of BC.
The tags and stuff.
Yeah.
What's allotted for each season.
Yeah,
based on that
exactly.
information.
So they're catering it to like real-time data
Yeah.
as opposed to saying like, okay, this is for a 3-year period. Let's see where we end up with after that.
So here's the wake-up call. BC and many provinces in Canada need money to do this shit.
Mm-hmm.
We have like $0 to do things like this, and they're doing things right in the States. They have so much more money to play with in these states that are like a fraction the size of British Columbia.
Yeah.
It's insane.
So the thing that's bringing in a lot of the money down there is the excise tax on
Outdoor.
firearms.
Yeah. But it's also, I think some of them is just outdoor equipment and stuff like that as well, is it not?
I think so.
Oregon,
I don't know for
I think
sure.
it's different from state to state, but I know Oregon is another one that's involved. I think Washington does something similar. I don't know if all states do this, but that's where they're getting big dollars from. And it's a tax. It's not even a visible tax, I don't think. It's just the way they, route the money that comes in from these purchases and that. So I think that's something we need to be doing here. In BC, obviously, it's our home province, but I think that's something that needs to be done right across Canada. And I think ski passes, ecotourism, all that kind of shit, there has to be a dollar amount going from all of that stuff. And I don't think people are going to be opposed to that, man.
No.
Why would you be?
Yeah, it's all going to preservation, conservation.
Yeah. If you're buying a mountain bike or a pair of skis or rock climbing gear, I think everybody, if you're at the tail and you said, hey, would you like some of your tax to go towards, wildlife conservation and habitat protection? I think everybody would say yes. I don't know why you wouldn't.
Yeah. And we've talked about it before, but like regardless of what you're using, the environment, like that outdoorsy, the whether it's parks or like provincial parks or public land or whatever, if you got an issue with hunters or hunting or whatever, like at the end of the day, we all want that land to stay public and to stay healthy and for all the animals to be there. So, I mean, that's the bigger goal and the greater good. It's just let's team up.
For sure.
So the other thing that I learned, maybe we should have known this, but mule deer eat mostly wildflowers.
Yeah. I found that interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think whitetail are more on the browse side.
Yeah.
But mule deer are more on the forage, wildflower type side. So if you have a big drought like we had this year, and it sounded like Idaho had, major impacts. Then we got slammed with a foot of snow. We hardly had any fall.
Yeah.
I think, how many days did we go? Was it 2 months we had with the no rain?
But the rain that we got was like nothing, man.
Yeah, like a few millimeters maybe. So like combine all that stuff together, and we had a pretty rough winter last year.
We did.
That hung around for a long time.
Yeah.
As far as snowpack. So they were saying like 40% potential declines in Idaho. They were worried about.
Crazy.
So the thing that surprises me with mule deer is like how resilient they are.
Yep.
But at the same time, they're fragile when you talk about these massive environmental type changes.
Yeah,
right?
for sure, man. It gave me a bit of hope on the day that I went out hunting, whatever day it was, just for fun, because we're sort of going into bow season here. I had a fawn call in my bag, and I came across a muley doe and her fawn. So I started blasting on the call, and it was really neat to watch her because she was probably like 80 yards away or something like that. And I was watching her through my binos. She couldn't see me at all. So I blew into it once, and right away her head popped up, her ears were perked and everything. And then she was kind of looking around, was kind of going to go back to, she was eating off some shrubs or something like that. But I kept hitting it like every, like minute and a half or something like that. Each time she would come closer and closer. And then she started running towards me, left her fawn behind, because it's just like instinct for them to, even if they have their fawn or even if they don't have a fawn, they'll still come to these calls because it's just instinct for them, right? So her and the fawn ended up running up within probably less than 40 yards of me or something like that. This is a long way of saying that they both looked extremely healthy. The fawn was like in really good shape. It was looking like it had eaten really well. So I'm hoping that that's the case, that maybe they were able to pack on some weight in one way or another. But I know that the wildflower season was not strong here. That's for sure. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, because this was one of the driest summers we've ever had. Although we did come from a pretty wet spring, so maybe they were able to, I don't know, benefit from that somehow. But we could be heading towards another crazy winter. So it is what it is, I suppose. But it'd be interesting to see what happens, because this was a weird season for us. And if it got worse next year, then I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be really challenging to hunt.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. It didn't sound too promising based on what I think his name was Mike or Mark.
Oh, I found it. One sec here. I think it was Mark.
Mark, yeah. Mark with an H his last name started with an H.
Yeah, you're close. It's Mark Hubblewhite is his name.
I was going to say Hubbleworth.
He's the professor of ungulate ecology at the University of Montana. It does a lot of work in Idaho, I guess. And that was put on BC Wildlife Federation was involved in getting that going and stuff like that. And Adam Ford gave us an update on things and that. So it was cool, man. It's good to go out to these things, and even if you just learn a couple things, it's a lot of information to take in, but there's always a few things that stick with you. Oh, the other thing I thought was interesting too was talking about predators, and he was talking about coyotes, and he said that they don't really matter. The important thing with coyotes is that they have a healthy hare population. That's what they prefer to eat, and there's actually a lot of food for them. So if there's a healthy rabbit or hare population, they're not going to go after too many fawns. And he said that it's not something they actually go after too often. Obviously, if the opportunity is there, they'll do it, but it's only a short period of time, like a 1 month span where they'll actually do that. Yeah, there's lots of hares, they won't bother.
Adam Ford's trying to do some good work here, get some things rolling with some business plans and his research with UBC. So for sure, if you want to help out as far as BC goes, I'd contact Adam Ford. And I think they're planning on GPSing a bunch of mule deer and all that, but it all costs dollars. So.
Money, which we don't have. Cool. So again, this being episode 50, unless there's anything you wanted to add to that presentation.
Nope, it was good. I'm glad we went.
We've talked to a lot of people who are much smarter than us over the last, well, not every 50 episodes, but we sprinkled our interviews in throughout this, and the last year, I guess, has been a little heavier on the interview side of things, but it's good. What is there certain ones that have stuck out for you? Pieces of advice, people you enjoyed talking to?
I think I enjoyed talking to everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like getting Jesse in here because I think he brings a lot of context to BC, but I think it helped us kind of progress in terms of
100%.
You know,
The
what's
first time we
important.
talked to him, it was a big eye opener.
Yeah.
As far as, so this is going way back. I think Jesse was probably one of our first
Mhm.
guests.
Yeah, like episode 10 or 15 or
yeah,
somewhere
it's
around
way
there.
back there. But it's funny because if you listen to some of the first few episodes, I think it might have been me that said that, you know, the things in BC like are well taken care of as far as wildlife conservation, and I was under the impression that, you know, although the wildlife populations were in good health and stuff like that,
Mhm.
and then we talked to Jesse and we find out that things weren't as great as we thought.
Yeah.
And I think that's the perspective that maybe a lot of people in BC have, but it's not the case. Things aren't, you know, that great here,
Mhm.
which needs to be known, I guess,
Mhm.
unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, or it's kind of on that brink, right? Like we got to do something about it
Yeah,
now.
I guess it's a tipping point because
Because once you lose something, you can't bring it back.
Yeah.
Like that's a mistake you can't really fix,
Mm-mm.
right? So I don't think anyone wants to make that mistake, regardless.
No, and it doesn't seem to be a priority right now for some reason.
Yeah.
That's where I'm hoping, where like all this shit with the grizzly bear debate, I hope if anything positive comes out of that, it's people start talking about wildlife conservation, and hopefully it sheds light on some of the issues with fish.
Mm-hmm.
Those populations aren't doing that great. Caribou aren't doing great. Mule deer aren't doing
Moose.
great.
Moose
Yeah.
in some areas.
Yeah. When you see the numbers and data that's been collected since even like from the 70s and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
not good.
Yep.
And it's not because hunters are going out there and harvesting. It's a lot of other issues. So
Yeah, I think some of the other guests we had that kind of, stick out for me, and they were kind of related, was we had Jeff in, and then we had Ryan Callahan in,
Yeah.
and Aaron Schneider in,
Yeah.
Snyders. And like I say, they're kind of related because like they all kind of work with Jeff once in a while.
yeah, for sure.
And
Jeff Lander.
yeah, and that was kind of an eye opener for me because I realized how small the community is
Yeah, definitely.
in North America for hunters. So that was really cool. And it kind of gave me a different perspective on the podcast too. And
Right.
like the ability to potentially talk to a lot more people.
Yeah, for sure, man.
And then it's like, oh man, I could learn a lot of stuff through this thing, right? So
Totally. Yeah.
it's huge.
The story that Shane Mahoney shared with us
Oh yeah.
at the end of that episode.
Yeah. The caribou story.
Yeah, I would. I won't even spoil it. If you didn't check out that episode, even if you want to just skip to the end and listen to that story, it's
Mhm.
pretty cool.
Yeah. But listen to the whole thing.
Yeah, but listen to the whole thing. But if you only want to listen to the end, then that's fine too. But
Yeah. And Chris had some good stories. Chris Barker.
okay, yeah, for
Like,
sure.
one of them was in our pod swapcast with Adam.
Oh,
About the
buffalo.
bison, or when he
Bison
him and
is-
the three guys on horses rode
Yeah.
up, and all those. There's like 200 buffalo up there,
It's crazy.
and they just went city slickers on them.
Yeah, totally. That had implanted this image for me that I think about quite a bit. Like I can only imagine what it was actually like to be there
Yeah,
with just three guys on horses and just surrounded by bison there, man. It would have been,
that's my goal for next year. Is I want to try a horse hunt.
yeah, it's just putting in the time to get familiar with horses. And
Yeah,
I have,
I mean, I'm not going to go out and buy a horse, but like,
I don't know.
I mean, we've talked to a lot of people that say they're a lot of work, and
Yeah.
I don't doubt that. But some people have said that the guides themselves, when they go hunting, they don't necessarily bring their horses because it's too much work. But,
Yeah. Just experience it once would be pretty cool, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think you got to experience it before you start going down that road, right?
Yeah.
So I remember my uncle, he was into that big time.
Right.
And I went out riding with him a couple times, but I never actually went. I was not hunting back in those days.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of fun, but the whole new ball of wax, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Yeah.
it's just cool because in Kelowna, there's a lot of areas for horseback and trails and hunting.
Yeah.
And you merge it all together and
For sure.
it'd be fun.
Definitely. Yeah, like I've talked about, we did an episode from that farm that I was looking after in the summertime for, I don't know how many weeks I was there. But there's those horses, and there was one that I would ride for sure. I haven't ridden her, but I think that's worth looking into.
Yeah.
Just to start going out and even doing some trail rides with her and stuff like that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because I know the horse now, which I think is important a little bit to kind of build up a bit of a relationship with him.
Yeah.
So they trust you and stuff like that.
They're usually pretty good though. Like as long as the owner knows it's a good horse, I think.
Yeah.
Like when I rode with my uncle there, I never even seen it. I jumped on it a couple times and it was fine.
Cool. Yeah, there's Star and Jules.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remembered the size difference between them.
Yeah, there's
Star
like a
wa-
foot at least.
Yeah.
Well, maybe a foot. Hey?
Yeah. Star was the smaller one. I can't remember what breed of
guess-
horses.
What is it? 2 hands?
Probably, yeah.
They don't talk in feet.
And Jules, she's a little bit crazy. I don't know if I'd ride that one or not, but the other one for sure. She's mellow.
What is a hand? Like the measurement. I feel like it's a lot smaller than your actual hand. Because a horse is like 15 or 16 hands or something like that.
The fuck are you talking about?
Well, they measure like a pony.
Do they? Oh, okay. I didn't know this.
Yeah, like I think if it's under a certain amount of hands, it's a pony, and if it's over, it's an actual
Oh,
horse.
weird.
So,
Hey, you learn something new every day on the Rookie Hunter, man.
yeah,
Hands. I didn't know
think
that.
it's- Here, I'll look it up.
That's hilarious. Thought you were just losing your mind over there. Do you need another another beer, Kelly?
Yeah, I got one here actually.
Hmm.
So, thus, a horse that measures 60 inches is 15 hands high,
Hmm.
and a horse halfway between 15 and 16 hands is 5.2 hands or 62 inches.
Interesting.
And it goes on. And I don't know if we need that much detail, but yeah. So, and it's to the shoulder, like the hump in the shoulder,
Oh, okay.
basically. But I mean, 15 hands. I think hands were smaller back then.
What if you got little Trump hands?
Exactly. I think that's where it came from.
Or if you're Shaq?
Little hobbits.
Interesting.
Any other guest moments
I
or
don't know,
just
man.
moments
I'd
in
have
general?
to,
I mean, we've had the
I like the ones that we do like from elk camp and stuff like that, more so for me. And
Yeah.
some of the like from the field ones we've done and
mhm.
the stuff that we did with Garrett on our last trip here and
I like those ones when you do it before and then it works out.
yeah,
It's fun to go back and listen to those, just see where your head was at.
totally, and what actually happened.
Yeah.
We're never too far off though. Well, I don't know about that. But
Yeah, we haven't done too many of those this year. So if we had, I think we would have been far off.
yeah. I'm just trying to scroll through and see here, but Lantani was another one that I really
Yeah.
enjoyed.
Yeah, that one was awesome.
Ryan's been on a couple times. Chris Barker, Adam Yonke, who we've been hanging out with. Danny, who did a little fishing.
Yep.
Shane, Jesse, Rachel Attila, Hank Shaw, Brian Chan was fun too. Megan Hanachek, Aaron Snyder, Tammy Wood, Jeff Lander, Cody Rich, Adam Ford. Holy cow. Randy Workman, that was a good one actually,
Yeah,
man.
that was good.
Yeah. What else? Yeah, and then we had Kevin back in the day, and
Yeah.
we've done multiple ones with Jesse.
It was good to talk to
Corey Davey was episode 4.
it was good to talk to Reg at Vortex there. I'd like to have him back though to talk more about shooting technique.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, that one's
and then we've
more
got
of
we got a couple more guests coming too.
So
That
another
we're pumped about.
goal for I'm not going to say who's coming on or when because I don't really know, but we're talking about the possibility of chasing after a moose next year.
Mhm.
And we've got a guest lined up for probably next month here. and we're definitely going to be talking moose.
Yeah, I think we should. I kind of want to focus on moose this time.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love to do another sheep trip and fly in this time. But I really want to just get a whole bunch of meat.
Yeah, me too. Make up for this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, this could be a wall tent kind of trip, which would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
I love staying in that thing. That was like 5-star
Yeah, exactly.
accommodations there.
It's
I
like
love backpacking as well. But
Yeah.
nice to, that thing was sweet.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. So we'll have to talk to Garrett, but it could be a meat year.
Mm-hmm.
And man, if we got a moose and a couple deer next year, that would tie us over. And then maybe we do a fly-in the following year.
You know what I'd like to do is the moose thing, but even in that same year, we were talking about some mule deer spots for this year that we didn't end up doing, but we live in the plateau,
Mm-hmm.
but I'd like to go to a spot where there's actually high country and do like an early high country mule deer hunt, whether it's in like whatever, a little tent or the actual kafaru with the stove or without the stove, it depends.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be fun because we could do both those things, right?
Yeah. Early season elk would be fun too.
Yeah, that's the other one with a bow would be unreal.
Yeah. Which I think we know what we need to do. We just have never really put the effort into actually really do an elk hunt. You know what I mean?
You know what I think we should do with that one is maybe we should have Randy back on, and then like he can be our guide, or Ovi or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
we just need somebody to be our like. Randy goes out. He got another one this year. Like almost every year, he gets an elk down. So I think he's got some knowledge to pass on.
Cody Rich would be another guy we could have back on too,
Yeah.
and because I know he does a lot of elk hunting, so that'd be a fun one. And he's talked to a ton of guys as well, so that could be fun.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, man, that's all the kind of the notes I had for this one.
Sweet.
Yeah, I don't know. Any other thoughts you got?
I don't know. It's just been fun. Learned a lot. I think it's night and day compared to when we started this podcast and now.
Yeah, I think so.
In terms of podcast quality and also hunting quality.
Yeah.
We
Hunting
don't have a
ability.
ton of animals to show this year, but I think we focused on some things that were a little less high percentage too, right?
Yeah.
Like the sheep was a tough one.
For sure, but this also being, like the most challenging season we have had, and the most experience we've had this far, we actually did end up with a deer. So I'm proud of that. And it was the only, like I said, the only buck that we saw all year. So whatever, we got something.
There's still time. There's still a month left here. So I'm pretty confident we're going to get a whitetail down.
For sure.
At least one.
Yep.
Yeah.
With a bow would be pretty cool. So start practicing.
Yeah. The bow, whitetail, that's a tough task, but I'm going to start firing some arrows in the garage.
Yeah, for sure, man.
And maybe we can find somewhere to set up.
Yeah,
and if we can set up and something walks by, then 100%.
For sure. 100%. That'll be cool. We put up a challenge for everybody. I don't know if our American friends have met the challenge. I think it's pretty damn close, so we'll release this one anyways.
Nice.
Canadian listeners, you guys killed it. We're at like 109 reviews or something like that. We only wanted 100, so
nice.
You guys kick ass. I'm going to read a few that I can read because sometimes it's a mishmash of letters and numbers and shit. So this is from the Canadian iTunes store. Buzzed Off Wine. Thank you. Moose Hunter 219. MDG 1989. Traveling Danimal. Caber. Tango Whiskey. Fuddlesticks. I'm not going to read more, but all you guys are awesome. Thanks a lot for leaving us ratings and reviews. Those things do help us, as we've said a million times. I'm sure people are tired of my intro, but appreciate it. You know what I mean? It's it goes a long way, and when people are searching for a hunting podcast, it's kind of the thing that helps us come up at the top. And We're often in the top 5 outdoor podcasts, which is pretty cool. And that's because you guys are downloading this and subscribing to it and all that. In the American iTunes store, Lucky Sportsing, Hikes with Bo. Oh my. Hectocolitis. NJ Upland Hunter. I might have read that one already, NJ. But yeah, thanks guys. Really appreciate you leaving ratings and reviews.
Yeah,
Other
thanks
thing
for
we
taking
should
the time.
We should bring attention to is that the store is back online, and very much appreciate everybody that waited patiently for the shirts that they ordered from our first run. We were doing them locally, and they were just taking way longer than they had told us, unfortunately, and it's kind of something that was out of their hands as well, but we don't want to keep you guys waiting, and that's not how we like to do things, so we switched it up, and we're dealing with a new company out of Ontario that handles everything for us, so that's sweet. So just go to our website, click on the store tab, you'll be brought to their website, and all the information's up there as far as returns go and shipping times and tracking numbers and all that stuff. So it's going to be a much faster, more efficient system. And yeah, again, just appreciate you guys kind of waiting. Some of you for much longer than we wanted. It was stressing us out, but they all went out. So
yeah, I think the lead times now are about 1.5 to 2 weeks.
Yeah, for sure.
And
you might even get them sooner sometimes. So
yeah, I mean that. Yeah, and that's the longest.
Yeah, and I can't remember who it was, but somebody left a review in the American iTunes store and said, "When can we get shirts in the States? And now's your chance. So we can ship them all over the world." So just got to pay those shipping fees, but you can get them now. Yep. And those things support the show. It helps us keep things running. And we're also going to be sort of, dedicated to putting money back into conservation groups. We'll talk more about that. We already have a little bit, but we're changing that up a little bit as well. So, so yeah, thanks guys.
Cool.
Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
Any final thoughts, Kelly?
No, just
got a full beer here. I don't know what to.
We're going to work on these. And then we're going to get a whitetail next weekend.
Yeah. Next week, Eat Wild is going to be our next episode. We've been holding on to that one for a while.
Yeah, I didn't realize we hadn't released that one yet.
No, still waiting.
Cool.
Kind of fell into our hands at a funny time with, first of all, getting the deer and then doing episode 50. So I had to put that one on hold. But hope you guys like the regular schedule. And we might keep it somewhat regular leading up to the holidays here, Kel. We've got some more stuff lined up. So
yeah, we've got an interview lined up next Friday.
Yep.
Pumped for that one. Hint, it's going to be on the sheep hunting side.
Nice. I haven't even looked into this, so
it's news to me it's too.
Sweet.
I mean, I think people are going to guess, but it's not, it's a local dude, so we're pumped about it.
Nice. Yeah, always good to have people in here rather than over the old Skype, which is always fine too. But yeah, nothing like hanging out and having a few brewskis.
Yep, definitely.
Sweet. All right, let's wrap this shit up.
Cool. Till next time.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Oh, wait. Hold on a second. I'm not letting you off the hook on the yoga thing. You're going to do one class with me. That's part of it.
Okay, I'll do one class.
Okay.
That one's free, right?
It's free.
Okay.
Do you have a yoga mat? We didn't settle this. Or just breathe. Not yoga pants.
I think she actually picked... I've got a black one.
Perfect.
Styling.
Okay. So next time we talk to you, Kelly's going to be wearing yoga pants, and we'll let you know how that goes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cheers.
Cheers.